Welcome back to the farm for another project. If that's your first time, I hope you enjoy. So we're going to be working on tonight is I had a request for a couple of kids' banks that have the initials that kind of have the acrylic on the front. I've never made one, so of course I was like, yeah, I'm sure I could make those. So let me show you the lumber we chose to go with. Let me show you the program and let's start carving. All right, so the wood I chose to go with is alder. So these are 1.5 inches thick, so we'll actually make the coins going to be just over 1 inch as far as depth to put the coins in. What I really like about alder is it seems to, when I'm doing really deep carves or doing layered carves, alder really kind of seems to hold its shape the best. So I really enjoy it, and I really love the color and the character you kind of get with some of this alder. So really excited to kind of carve these out and get a really nice finish on them. So I worked on a couple of programs today since we're doing these two letters. Let me show you how I came up with it. Since I've never done these, I'm hoping it works since I've only got these two. So if I mess up, I'm gonna have to go buy some more wood. Let me go show you the program and then we'll get started. So the two letters we're gonna be carving today is the J and a K. So we're gonna start with the J first. So if you look here in the upper portion, this is gonna be the coin drop. So we'll carve that one into the very top of it first. The second two layers here on the inside is going to be where we're actually going to cut those down the thickness of the acrylic so the acrylic sits flush. And the very last one is going to be where we're going to cut out the whole piece. So now if you actually come over here to the 3D view, this is what the whole piece is going to look like when it's carved out. So you can see we got the main channel down inside of it. If we zoom in here, you can kind of see this pocket right here around the edge. This pocket here will be where they're actually, the acrylic should sit down flush. So I did get 0.04 thickness of acrylic is coming, so that's how deep I went with that cut. Now I was initially going to have the CNC kind of do some guide holes, but I really think that I'm going to probably just end up doing those by hand as this wood carves, because sometimes there'll be little imperfections or little divots, and I don't know where those are going to end up when you're carving into 1.5 inch thick wood. So we'll come back and do those later. So let's get this one started. We'll get it on the machine, and then after that we'll be doing letter K. All right, so we're gonna go with the blue painter's tape on this, and as you can tell, with those two strips, this thing's not going to, I can move my whole table with that thing. And I always like to use a level to make sure I'm staying nice and square whenever I start something off. So we've already got the 0 set on this right in the center of our project. Now the only 3 bits we're gonna be using is gonna be our 1/4 inch down cut bit. I have a 1/8 down cut and a 1/16 down cut to do the whole piece. So I'm gonna go through and cut everything with the 1/4 inch, and then I'll come back and do the 1/8 and the 1/16 just to kind of keep my tool bit changes down to a minimum. So let's get this thing started. All right, so you can see there we went 1.5 inches deep. That came out real nice using that, I did a 40% overlap, so that gave me a real nice bottom. I will have very minimal sanding to kind of clean that up. For whatever reason, I always get a little bit lines around the edge, but since it's 1.5 inches, it should be pretty easy to kind of clean that up. Now we're going to swap over to our 1/8 bit, and we're going to cut our small channel for the acrylic, and then we'll go to the 1/16 to cut all the real fine stuff out of it, and then we'll go ahead and cut this whole thing out. One thing you do have to consider here, and I kind of want to show this, is whenever you're cutting something so deep, you always want to make sure you got some clearance with your collet. So if you look here, I've got like less than 1/4 inch from where I feel comfortable letting this bit go down. So I dropped this bit all the way to my sacrificial board here, just to make sure that if I go all the way to the bottom, my collet isn't going to hit my actual board here. The other thing you have to worry about when you're dropping these bits down that far, because you can see here, like on this Amana bit, this is where you're supposed to actually put it inside the collet. This is about as far down as I really feel comfortable pushing this, because you're going to have so much pressure pushing to both sides as this bit drags through this wood. So one thing I will do anytime I'm pushing my bits like this where I'm not 100%, is I'll actually increase the number of tool pass. So the program is probably going to come up and say, well, it's going to take me 12 passes to cut through this. Well, I'll add 5 or 6 more passes just so I'm putting less stress on that bit and hopefully keep it from breaking, because these Amana bits, you know, it's like a $60 bit. Last thing you want to do is break one. When you're selling these for $65, if you break one bit, well, now you're not going to make any money. So just a little food for thought, guys. Make sure you're double checking things like this before you just start cutting. All right, the cutout's all done, but I actually just wanted to kind of show you this little tool that I picked up. So this is actually a little wrench that normally used for a paint can for popping them open. Now I found this actually works perfect for sliding under your workpiece whenever you have it taped down, to really kind of give you some more leverage to kind of take it off. think it was like $5 or $6, and this is probably one of my favorite tools to kind of keep in my little drawer bin here, that quick and easy to get to for popping stuff off. So little tools like that definitely make the job easier. Both letters are all done, pocketed out. I've already gone through and done all the sanding on them, so the acrylic just showed up. So now what we're going to end up doing here, because I've never done acrylic, so this is 0.03. It actually is 0.028 thickness. So I just went ahead and put an extra sacrificial board, because I'm going to go through this just a little bit more just to make sure it cuts it all. I'm going to try to do it in one pass, but I slowed it down a little bit. We'll see how it goes. I got 6 of these sheets. Hopefully the one time was all it's going to take. So let's give this thing a carve, and hopefully we can finish up and it'll drop right in the letters. Well, the machine cut that really quick and easy. So everything right here, this looks nice. Came out nice and clean. I'm hoping has actually pulled a protective layer off of that that'll keep it even cleaner. So let's do a quick test fit before we drill all of our holes and everything in it. Oh, it drops right down in there. Nice and perfect, nice and snug. You can see here we got a nice little gap so they can put dollar bills and everything in it. That just fits in there just absolutely perfect. So now I can pre-drill just a couple of holes in here. I got some really tiny little screws to keep this in so they can remove those anytime they want to get all their money out. And then let's go ahead and cut the next one. Just got the acrylic all cleaned up. Those little tiny screws that I put in there came out really nice. I think kind of gave it a kind of a cool little unique little look. Well, another project all done. Thanks for joining me for another video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. I'll do what I can to answer them for you. If you really enjoyed this video, you want to join me for all my other ventures, all my other projects, hit that subscribe button. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you around.